So what's it like going from season 1 to season 2 of Gotham?
Well, it's really nice that we got asked back. So we all have jobs for season 2, which is great. The biggest change is, in season 1, the show, there's a lot of like finding a show in season 1, like growing up. And by the end of the season, I think we knew the show we wanted to make in season 2, so it's really become less of a procedural and it's become just like a serialized saga story. So it's not going to be any case of the week type stories, anymore. And we're trying to make a big shift as well. Like in season 1, felt a little bit like that mob world of Gotham. In season 2, takes like that kind of an evolutionary shift towards what'll be like the rise of the supervillains. Like where do they come from? So they make one more step forward and one more step forward. So it's fun.
Are we ever going to revisit this whole ancient Indian burial ground, with the mob families that it was brought up in 2 episodes?
For a reason. Yeah, you'll see it at the end of this year. It actually comes around full circle.
Okay.
You'll figure it out. Yeah, it's I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, we actually find out what's going on underneath there and how it ties into like this kind of overarching mystery that it's one of the things you try to set up these mysteries like in episode 5, and you're like, man, I hope our show's on long enough for us to solve this mystery. But it gets solved by the end of season 2.
By the end of season 2, okay.
Yeah.
Glad to hear.
If this is a series not about Batman, but about Gotham, why do you choose to end the last season with that specific scene?
Last season? Well, it's a good question because it definitely seems to throw the focus back onto David's character, Bruce, and everything. Part of it is just like that. That was such a kind of an iconic scene and moment of going down into the Batcave, And I also just on a really kind of pretentious level, I like the symbolism of it because so much of our show, like all Batman shows or what have you, are about the duality of personality and you are one thing and you become another thing and you cross that line. And so going down the stairs into the cave is such a kind of Jungian motif of going into your subconscious. I think we all kind of just fell in love with that image. So, and, you'd see and sometimes you're going, oh, that would be really cool. and that's reason enough. So.
It's been mentioned that the series would possibly end with Batman taking on the Cowl. If that's the case, ideally, how many seasons would you project the show going? Do you have an ideal arc?
Wow. I mean, because he's in the world. That would be 10 years in the future. That would be a long run. But I don't know. Probably 7 or 8 years. I think 6, 7, 8. I don't know. I'm just picking a number, man. I don't know.
How much have you been planned out?
Right now, we've really only planned out the first 3 seasons. So I kind of feel it's not. I mean, sometimes you kind of jinx yourself by over planning. I could be wrong, and also. I always like to know destination, where we're going destination-wise. As if you're driving to Chicago, but I don't always want to know the roads we're going to take to get to Chicago, because that kind of discovery that happens on the journey makes it part of the fun. It makes it feel alive and vibrant, it can develop. So you're not locked into something which all of a sudden doesn't work anymore. You can actually say, oh, that's working really well. Let's keep going that direction.
So how do you decide between season 1, we introduced Penguin, the Riddler, or their identities before they become that. So how do you decide which villains to use for season 2 that we know later on down the line will be major villains?
Well, part of it is you look at your pantheon of villains, and there are a few that always stand out heads and tails above the others in terms of visibility and renown. So we're gonna do a Mr. Freeze run this year because he's another one of the ones that we haven't done. We're gonna do an Azrael run this year, which I think is going to be super exciting.
John Paul Valley.
Yeah, you got to watch. There have been a few Azraels out there. So
that's very interesting.
No, I think it'll be really exciting. I think it'll be really interesting because a lot of those characters come about, and they can become kind of models that Bruce, in our imagination, can see as visions of what he could become, either a dark version or a light version, which I think Azrael can function as.
Yeah, cool.
I have a request for this season. Can we get a place for Gordon to live? Because he's been sleeping at his ex-girlfriend's house and then in locker rooms. Where is he living? Can we get a place this season?
You and Ben McKenzie have made that request.
Okay.
It's under consideration.
Under consideration? Come on, man.
I know.
He's the hero of the show. Give him a bed.
The problem is when you go and you blow your construction budget on Arkham Asylum and a Batcave, and all of a sudden going, wow, we also... Ben, we'll give you someplace to sleep very soon. You guys got to work, But yeah, I know it's something to think about, especially as the show becomes more serialized and more just about like the lives of the characters. You want to follow them home. Wait a second. Are you gonna pull me away?
I'm sorry.
Anyways, nice
Thank you
talking to you
so
guys.
very much.
Take care.
Thank you.
See you guys.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, how are you
doing?
Hey.
Hey. Are we surviving?
Yes.
We hanging in there?
How you feeling?
I think I aged 5 years today. But it's good. It's a good. It's alright.
I would like to ask that, like, almost immediately when Gotham premiered, you kind of became the standout character. How was feedback for you, like, your portrayal of Oswald Cobblepot?
It's been amazing. Well, when I first got cast, and I've said this before, so I apologize if you've heard this or whatever, but like, I got, I was getting like, well, most of it was just like, who the hell is that? Like, there was a lot of that. But then, a lot of like the what I was getting on Twitter was like, this is crazy, he's too tall, he's too skinny, and he's too good looking. And I was like, I'll take it. I was like, this is like the worst it gets, like, bring it. Like, but then, there was a lot of reticence. And I think a lot of that was just also in terms of like, just what we were trying to do with the show. Like, anyone hears that we're doing like something new with the Batman story, like everyone just gets like, it's like a lot of people, it's just really freaks them out, because like people own these stories. It's mythology for all of us in a way. We've all grown up with Batman. It all speaks. Well, I can't speak for you guys, but like it speaks to me in a very specific way, and always has my entire life. And then so I think a lot of that was just people being like, they're messing with my shit. Whoa, they're messing with my shit. But then once the show came out, and then of course people's like this, the incredible like wave of positivity that I got like on Twitter or whatever, like, just blows my mind. Like, I can't believe it. I just want health insurance, dude. I just want like.
You got it now.
Yeah, I got it now. Thank goodness.
Oh yeah, you told us.
Oh, I was gonna say. So, what does it feel like to have an action figure made after you now? Have you seen it?
Yes, I have seen it.
This is
Oh
the
my
exclusive
gosh.
edition you can only get here.
Can I take a picture of you with this?
Excellent.
I'm just gonna keep doing this. This is how I feel about this.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's.
it's like so surreal. I can't.
You can keep it. If
Am
you don't have one, you can have that one. Yeah. I'll hook it.
It's like a voodoo doll of
for
yourself.
real. You can have it.
Yeah, like, yeah, right.
Can I take another picture?
Yeah, totally, man.
So, will you be taking it out of the box?
I don't think I can. Can I? How nerdy do I get about
It's you.
this?
You could
Do I
do whatever
cherish
you
it?
want.
Yeah, I know, right?
You could reenact all your scenes. You could put it in the car crusher thing, and like you could, walk it off the dock.
Totally, yes. Oh, I love these ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do like the Spaceball scene and like have them like reenact the.
I was gonna say, like you just mentioned the scenes. Season 1, what was your favorite scene to act out?
Oh man. Shit. Excuse me. Can I say shit?
You're a villain. You can say the biggest shit in
It's
the world.
Fox.
What was I gonna say? My favorite scene. Well, there's a couple. There's three, and they're all like pretty much. The first one was the pier scene with Jim. In the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
That was when like I could. It was just such a grand scene. I could feel my life changing, and in that moment, I stepped outside of myself and looking down and like in the magnitude, I could like cry just talking about it. So that was the first one. The second one was my scene with my pal Corey Michael Smith, which was like an amazing moment. Like,
when y'all meet?
Yeah, when
cool.
when the villains meet for the first time, like that was amazing. It was like maybe like 5/8 of a page. And, but we shot it for like hours because there was like this tracking shot where we're like walking each other through like GCPD, and I was like, because I wanted it to be, I wanted it to be like epic, and then just the way they shot it turned out to be like as epic as like 5/8 of a page could be. So that was the one, and then the last one was standing on the roof screaming, "I'm the king of Gotham!"
At the very end.
I am the king.
Looking at the Empire State Building. Like, again, another moment where I was just like, my life is totally, I can't believe it's real. I can't believe I'm talking to you guys. It's like insane.
So, Robin, what can we expect from the Penguin for the second season?
For second season, well, he's now like established himself. He's boss. He's boss, but as everything in Gotham, it's not. And as everything with Oswald, like it's never a steady rise to the top. Like he's gonna be faced with some serious physical and emotional trauma that is really going to, like, if you thought he was deranged in the first season, it just spirals down. Like all of his humanity is basically stripped away, and you're really we're all just going to really start to see the like someone really become a psychopath in front of your eyes. Like even more so than he already is. But yeah, because there's still a scrap of humanity left in him. But after what he goes through this season, it changes.
Are we gonna see like a food addiction or something to grow Bell?
Oh, I think we'll start like a little more Easter eggs like with that. Yeah, because it was in the thing, and like you'll definitely see like I gotta start eating more. I guess I don't know. I'm like, can we make a fat suit, please? I don't want to ruin my cholesterol's high enough.
Penguin also has an interesting relationship with his mother.
Yes.
And throughout the first season, I was really worried that someone was going to kill her off, and then that would really push her descent. What is your relationship like with her in this second season?
In the second season, well, I don't know very much, like, in terms of that, but and that's a valid fear. I mean, like, I don't, Carol's like one of my favorite people in the world, like honestly. That sounds stupid, but I love her, and she, Koppelput, and but she is a liability to Oswald. I mean, I don't know exactly what happens. I mean, I know that like he has to keep her close, and now that he's established himself, he actually has the means to protect her. So and I'm just hoping for just more scenes with Carol. I mean, have you seen Kimmy Schmidt?
Yes.
I love it.
Right? She's the best.
Have you ever seen the first Penguin comic?
I have not.
Can you read dialogue as Penguin?
Let me get this.
Okay. Why did you bring me here after convincing me for a second? For several reasons, I do that. First, I collect insurance on my own little piece of jewelry. Secondly, I remain in the clear as an innocent collector. I knew that we would inevitably come to grips, so I made plans and I called the police, and there's an alarm out for me.
Awesome.
Well done. Burn that figure.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. So great talking to you guys. Have a good one. Thanks a lot. Yes, I got a guy.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello. How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, good. First Comic Con.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, welcome. Are you overwhelmed yet?
No, all I've seen is the inside of rooms like this and lovely people like yourself. I've sort of wistfully sort of waved at people out of windows and things like that.
Okay.
But it's great. It's fantastic. It's an honor to be here. I wasn't here last year, and it's kind of strange for the guys. I think it's nice for me because people sort of know who we are now and what the show's about and our take and where we're going with it. So it's nice. It's nice to be back.
Last year, the show ended with a so iconic.
Yeah, right.
With you and David. So, what is heading your characters in the second season?
Well, I think to make things interesting, if anyone's dealt with this teenage boy, but also a rather irascible military man, who has an experience of bringing a child up, they fight, they butt heads, and also I've got a boy called Alfred, who's the same age as David, and there's a lot of hormones flashing around, and there's a lot of stubbornness on Alfred's part, a lot of boorishness and bullheadedness. He never knew how to be a father anyway. He just inherited this child. So you'll see them fall out. But you'll see them come back together as a force to be reckoned with. That's something I can say. That Alfred becomes much more contractual in many respects about his teaching him in the dark arts and in the skills that you learn in special air services and the SAS. So you'll see them learn together, and he becomes much more active, young Master Bruce, in a very dangerous world. Because the second season is, I can say that Bruno's been talking about it, and he sort of subheads it, Rise of the Villains. The wheels fall off the city, it burns. After the sort of maelstrom of the mafia war, everything falls to pieces. Penguin rises, but he's inexperienced. it absolutely digresses into bloody mayhem. And of course, it has to go there. The show has to go to the very bottom of the barrel, and it's a long way down from the ashes like a phoenix to rise, the Cape Crusader that we all know and love. You know, it's a long, dirty journey. And you know, we're on episode 3 now, and I'm sure you've heard from Robin and from the guys. There's a great sense of change in the atmosphere within the show. That's it's very confident. And because the characters, people know where we are now and have accepted us, you'll see a lot of interaction between a lot more of them. And you'll see them go to bad places and good places, and you'll see them, like I said, interact and meet. So it's going to be a very, very bumpy season. But we're very confident because it's got this sort of less pages but more content. There's so much more character there now for all of us. History, everything, subtextual stuff. So we're all super excited. New sets, some great new actors have joined us. And you know, it didn't look too shabby, did it, last year? Really, I mean, it's operatic in its scale. So we've kind of got that sort of slightly confident smirk on our chops.
So this version of Alfred is much more of a badass than we were used to seeing in the past, and honestly, it kind of fits the whole Batman mythos a lot.
But it's nice to hear you say that now. I think at first people were kind of horrified.
It was a bit of a shock.
They were a bit of shock. Get your bloody ass off that roof. You know, they were kind of like. But of course, you know, the things that's with Bruno's writing. You know, you have to. You know, we know them at the end. We know where they end up. These characters, but we need to know how they get there. And that's it's been, you know, the real thrill is being allowed to redefine these characters and to give them backstories. You know, the fact that you find out, you know, that Alfred is as damaged as Bruce, and that's why they sort of inexorably cling to each other. That they both need each other as much as one needs the other, and they both learn from each other. So I always had it in my mind. I knew where I was going with it, but you know, this is the brilliance of people like Bruno Heller and Danny Cannon and John Stevens and stuff like that, is you're actually being gently guided in the direction. You'd love to take all the credit, but really I've got to say a lot of them. Yeah, so they've let me play, and you'll see a lot more of it as well. You see a lot more of his past.
Are you going to have more action scenes?
Yeah.
Kicking ass and all that?
Can't wait.
Did you enjoy that scene where you kind of had to shoot at people in the manor when they were trying to kidnap Bruce? Like,
It was my idea of heaven. Excuse me, you're kidding me. We're redefining Alfred Pennyworth. You're doing a show about like, the pre-teen Batman. Right, we're shooting with Danny Cannon, Bruno Heller's written it. We're in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I get to bash people up as a butler. And it's funny because when I first went to Bruno and we were talking about it, I said, you know, my suits are beautifully tailored by Martin. It's beautifully tailored suits. I said, I've got to be able to move and I've got to be able to conceal like a commando knife. And they went, even the writers go, well, why would you need to do that? So they let us go with it. They let us go. Okay, if you put it this way, the richest man in the world, why would he employ an East End like a loudmouth geezer? Why would he employ him? Why? Well, it's obvious. You know, to us, it's obvious. And people, I think, now realise he was military. You know, he was SAS. They're bad boys, you know. So watch it.
You say we're going to know more about Alfred's past, and we saw one of your friends influenced Bruce in sort of a negative way. Are we going to have more friends from the past?
I don't know. I mean, we don't know. We shoot chronologically, and that's the great thing. Every time we open the script, it's actually like opening a Christmas present. So we genuinely don't know. I'd love to give you a spoiler, but I won't.
Okay.
Have you ever seen what Alfred looked like in his first comic?
You see, that's before he went to the gym.
Yeah, that's right. You know your history.
I know history. He went to the gym, but that's right. But he was always a sort of bumbling buffoon. Was that when he was an actor, right?
He was an actor, and he wanted to be a detective. Can you read one of his lines?
I've got my glasses on.
Good evening, gentlemen. I trust
But
that.
he would have been, when he was an actor, he would say, good evening, gentlemen. I trust I haven't disturbed your what?
Your rest.
I haven't disturbed your rest. But you see, he was an actor. He wasn't like an East Ender then.
Yeah.
Thaddeus Crane is his middle names, by the way. Just so.
All right, guys.
Hey, great to see you.
Very much.
Thanks so much.
So I wanted to ask about the character development for the Barbara Keene character, because at the beginning of the season, she's the girl that Jim comes home to, and she's involved in that drama with Renee Montoya. By the end of the season, she was no longer Jim's girlfriend and was in more of an antagonist role, including attacking Leslie. Was that something that developed over the course of the season, or was that mapped out when you guys had begun?
It was always intended that you would feel slightly that this relationship is not, as much as they might love each other, it's not right. They don't quite fit together correctly. So that sort of uncomfortable feeling was intended. And then, it was very much let that play out and see where it goes. And when you have, and one of the things about TV is you wait and see what the actors are doing and how they're pulling that character together, and then decide what to do with it. And in this case, Erin is such a great bravura kind of epic actor. We kind of knew that Marina could bring it, and Erin could bring it. So why not really go for it in a kind of operatic, soapy kind of way? And so that's what we did.
So the way that episode ended, it's not looking too good for a young Barbara Gordon that becomes Batgirl. Is she completely off your radar?
No.
Well,
no, it's not off the radar.
no, it's like things happen often not the way you wanted them to, not in that classic way, but things can still happen. So that's nice.
Have you ever gone back to an ex-girlfriend that might have been crazy?
Yes, but not one that tried murdering people.
Yes, but
that's a lot.
So the last season we saw this dynamic of like the supervillain of the week. Are we still doing that, or because obviously the Penguin is not the focus on this season, or there's gonna be a main villain?
Well, one of the main builds is Nigma. The beginning, the real beginnings of his story. How can this guy turn bad? That's been a lot of fun to do. That's a real good slow burn for us. I think it's much more about introducing 3 or 4 characters that we can really do from beginning to end an origin story and spread that out over 22 rather than trying to cram it into 2 episodes.
I mean, you put your finger on the issue right there. Like supervillain of the week is kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? If you're a supervillain, you're going to last more than a week, and that's one of those things you learn from doing a show. This world is so big and colourful, and the characters have to be so big and colourful that you can't shuttle them in and out. You have to really give them an entrance, give them their moment on stage, and then move from there. It's one of the most fun but the most challenging aspects of the show, because as soon as you introduce those characters, they're characters that the audience knows already, so they have a judgment of it before as soon as they come on screen, you got to hit it right.
The first season was very dynamic in terms of the status quo, in terms of Falcone and Maroni and where Fish Mooney was. Were there any challenges in trying to position the characters in a certain place, or was it all kind of mapped up and it was sort of like fait accompli how things worked out by the end of the season?
Okay.
Yeah, good question. You'd have to get specific. There were things that were kind of invented on the run, and there were other things that we always knew were going to happen. It was always intended that Penguin was going to defeat Fish, because that was essentially his arc, to go from a menial servant to the king. And again, in this comic book world, that's the sort of thing that can happen. You can start from nothing and become the king of the Gotham underworld. The other side of that is if you play that too much, if everyone transforms in a kind of, then it starts to become like magic in the Hobbit movies. Like every problem is solved by simply kind of rolling forward. And we're trying to keep it as real as possible as you can inside what is essentially a surreal world.
One of the biggest mysteries for this season is fish really dead or not dead?
Yeah, that's a big mystery.
Oh, and we're gonna know something maybe in subsequent seasons.
We had such great fun working with Jada, and she brought such almost without trying, she defined that kind of larger than life character that is exactly DC. She fell off a high, not the highest building in Gotham, she fell off a high building into water.
And she's a fish?
And her name is Fish. So yeah, that's
All right,
all
we
I'm
gotta
going to say
grab
on
you
that.
guys. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you,
gentlemen.
Thank you.
So we're gonna bring.
So can you tell us about your epic fight scene, Ayla the Shining?
Yeah, I know. Crazy. That was really, that's a really nifty little camera. What is that?
It's like a GoPro.
That's so cool. It was a really fun scene to shoot. I mean, I got totally banged up. I had bruises for weeks on my knees and on my legs. It was fun. It was a really interesting, turn of events, and not the most pleasant for my character. And I will have a little bit more of that in this season.
More fights?
Well, the Barbara thing situation is not quite resolved yet.
Oh, so she's still alive.
She is still alive.
Interesting. So now that you're a series regular, do you have an idea of like where Leslie's going to in season 2?
Not really. I mean, they don't tell us much, but I do know that there is a bit more of a relationship with a few other characters, and of course things will get complicated with Jim as he gets deeper and deeper into the darkness of Gotham. I think he's going to be grappling with some darkness, and it's hard for her, I think, to see him go through that.
So, and this is a Gotham show, this is a Batman-related show, and this particular story has a lot of like really evil characters, and like you're like oftentimes the one moment of sunshine in this kind of bleak world of insanity. So what's it like playing off of like these really insane characters and trying to like, kind of act against a lot of those crazy characters?
It's interesting. It's a very interesting universe. I don't think there's a boring character or a boring exchange in Gotham. There's so many people. I think I really loved how they played the romance between Jim and Lee, how that evolved. Now that they're together, of course, we have to break them up again, right? Or something. I don't know, but things always get complicated in Gotham. So I think that's, we're going to have to do that.
If you had to guess, how do you think your character's eventually going to end up?
My character? Okay, I'll tell you what I would love, which is not at all been pitched to me. I have no idea what's happening, but it would be amazing to see her, much like the comics, have a relationship with Bruce Wayne and Alfred, and enter that world a little bit. And I think she opens her own clinic or something.
That's right. She
in the
absolutely
comics. So have her, have her own work apart from the GCPD to focus on, and it'll be interesting to see, how she can help in the investigations.
Have you ever seen how she looked in her first comic?
Yeah, she's a little old lady. What are you saying?
No.
I'm just giving you an education of your character.
Thank you.
So you're basically saying with Jim and occasionally Bullock, there's no real expansion with Bruce or anybody else.
All right, I can do it.
I'm sorry, there's no what?
Like the status quo, like so far, as I know you guys have only like two episodes in, you're still with Jim and you're still with Bullock more so. You're not interacting with Penguin or not interacting with anybody else.
I do interact with Bruce and Alfred in episode 3.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Is it sort of like development, or is it sort of like preview into what could happen there?
That's a good question. I don't know.
All right. Being very secretive.
How's your relationship with the Riddler going to progress this season? Because he sort of likes to push the boundaries and get into your space a little bit. And
Yeah, I know. He got all up in my medical examiner's office. I've got to find him out soon. I don't know. I hope that she confronts him or has, some kind of say about it. 'Cause he's going pretty far. And you do start to see his character show more and more this season. It's really fun to watch.
how do you feel about having more of those fight scenes? And are you doing anything
you know, my character unfortunately is not like a fighter. She's not supposed to be a hero. So I think I kind of can't look like I know what I'm doing. You know, it's got to be a woman who's a doctor or whatever, just getting down and dirty with some psychotic lady. So it is what it is. I mean, you know, the stunt people do a lot of that stuff so that you don't get banged up. But inevitably, when you're falling on the ground, you're going to get a bruise. Great. Thank you guys.
They told us to wrap it up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thank you very much. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Alright, so very basic question. Season 2, where is Selena in Season 2? Is there a projection from Season 2 going forward?
She joins forces with someone that you don't expect her to join forces with, especially after the finale. So that's where it starts, and then from then on throughout the season, she's going to be trying to figure out whether she belongs with the bad people or the good people, especially after we unveil a big part of her backstory. Okay. So that's where she's going to be going throughout the season.
Are we going to see more of her relationship with Barbara Keene, her sometimes roommate, sometimes mentor?
I don't know. I do know that we are going to see, you know, the relationship between her and Bruce. So that's the only relationship that I know of.
I was surprised to see how dark Selena went this early into the show. I mean, she basically murdered the guy.
Am I surprised?
Well, I said I was surprised.
Oh, you were surprised.
Is this character going to go further down that dark path? I mean, will there be more murders?
I don't know. She's there. I mean, there could be because she's trying to figure herself out. She's a teenage girl, and we want to fit in. I mean, everyone wants to fit in, but especially, I mean, I know I want to fit in sometimes, but with certain. No, that was a lie. I don't want to fit in, but teenage girls in general, they want to figure out where they are, and that's what she's doing right now. It's just she's doing it in a city that's corrupt and has a lot of things going on. So you never know. She's a very interesting character.
So you don't see her as one way good or one way evil? You see her sort of on a path for one or the other?
Yeah. I mean, I personally don't consider her a villain or a villainess, just because she has her reasons. You know, the only reason she pushed the man out of the window was because her and Bruce were in danger, and the only reason she steals is so that she can eat and survive. So I don't think she's a very malicious person. She's just a survivor, and that's why I'm really excited about this season, because I get to figure out where she's gonna go. So
in her line, it says like fish mooney or whatever. That was a very sudden turn. What was that like? I thought that was a pretty surprising part for her. So like, was that surprising for you? If not, what was a very surprising part for Selena in season 1?
It wasn't surprising for me for her to join forces with fish, just because cats and fish have this thing.
You're wearing fish earrings.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, they are kind of fishy, huh? But in real life, cats and fish have a relationship, maybe sometimes not very good relationships. But so I was excited to be able to work with Jada. But the surprising thing for me would probably have been her going to the ball.
Oh right, with Bruce.
That was surprising to me, because she doesn't usually do things for other people, and she went to the ball for Bruce because she knew that he didn't like the fact that she pushed the man out of the window, and she doesn't put other people before herself, but with Bruce she does. So I thought that was really interesting.
Have you ever seen Selena's first comic?
Ooh.
Can you read that line in character?
In character?
Yeah.
Oh man. I'll read the line.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's the matter? Haven't you ever seen a pretty girl before? Yeah, that's a cool line.
Better than what Batman told you. He said, "Quiet or Papa Spinning."
The heck? No, Batman.
Thank you very